Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to share with you guys my go-to hair toning tips and tricks. I am not a hair professional hairdresser or anything like that. I have been doing my own hair, like in terms of the colour, for quite some time, so I've developed a couple of tips and tricks here and there. So given the current situation that's happening, at the time of filming this video, the coronavirus is happening. A lot of people aren't able to go out to go see their hairdressers to refresh the tone of their hair and whatnot. So I'm just going to share with you guys my go-to tips and tricks on how to tone your hair. So let's dive right into it. So as you guys can tell, I've got a fairly light blonde hair color going on. I would like to say this is a level 8 or maybe even level 9, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I'm not a hairdresser. So I basically bleach my hair twice and then I put on a color toner to achieve this color, and I just use toning shampoos and conditioners to kind of maintain that color, and sometimes I will use a chemical toner, chemical color to refresh the color. So obviously this is going to be aimed a little bit more for people with lighter hair, but this will also still apply to people with darker colored hair because there are different types of products out there that you can use. So the first batch of products are mostly for lighter colored hair. So I've got the Fanola No Orange and I've got the Fanola No Yellow. So these are, well, this is a mask, but this is a shampoo. So you can use those to just help maintain the color of your hair, whether you are a, let's say, dirty blonde to a light blonde. You can definitely use those particular shades to maintain the color, and then hopefully by the time you see your hairdresser, your hair is not super brassy. So whether it be a shampoo or a conditioner, just use something like that on the daily, or whenever you do wash your hair, you'll find that it will help maintain the color and just keep the brass away. Now if you have darker hair, there are certain brands that do shampoos for darker hair, something like the Di Lorenzo color infusion, I think what it's called. I'll put a photo on the screen. Those things are really good at helping to maintain the tone of your hair if you've got darker hair. Another product that's also from Fanola is the Incredible Foam. I've recently done a video on this. If you guys would like to see it, definitely check it out. But it definitely gives you a nice silvery ashy blonde color. If you leave it on for a few minutes only, you can still just get like a nice ashy effect to your hair. For this particular hair color, I have been using the No Orange range, by the way, just in case you guys were wondering. Now for those of you guys that want something that a little bit more longevity, I would suggest grabbing actual hair color and grabbing a developer, a low-level developer. Like for me, to achieve this particular hair color after bleaching my hair, I actually use a hair color and I also used some developers. Now the developer that I have here at the moment is 30 vol. For toning, I would recommend a 10. I wouldn't even really recommend 20 because 20 does have a little bit of lift. So if you're not familiar with hairdressing terms and stuff like that, don't worry, I'm not very good at it either. But level 10 or 10 vol, it's just enough to open up the cuticle to add a little bit of color, so it won't really lift that much. 20 vol will have a little bit of lift. You'll find a lot of box dyes tend to have 20 or 30 vol from my experience. So there will be a bit of lift. So if you can purchase something that has 10 vol. I know in many countries around the world you can get these sort of like professional grade products from eBay, Amazon, online stores like that, just because of current situation. Those are probably the only places you can get them, and certain chemists, drugstores. Here in Australia I got these from, well, this one I got this brand from Priceline, this one I got it from Chemist Warehouse. So like I said, I do recommend going for like a 10 vol. If however you can't find a 10 vol, all you can find is something like this, 30 or a 20. All you have to do is just add a little bit of water. Now when I say add a little bit of water, it just really depends on the volume you've got. So normally what I do is I mix these two together, so usually 2:1 ratio of product. I would add probably like 1 part of water just to kind of like dilute it even more to get it down to a 10. That measurement probably isn't accurate, but that's what I do, and I just really mix it in, and then yeah, just leave it in my hair. You can also do that with a 20 vol, obviously. Probably just don't use as much water. So the higher the volume, the higher the percentage of the peroxide, so you'll have to add a little bit more water. Personally, I don't really measure my concoctions. I just usually just try and aim 2 parts this, 1 part this, and then for toning I'll just add a little bit more water. And sometimes I have added too much water and it becomes quite runny. It's fine, it will still tone your hair, it just means you have to leave it in your hair for a little bit longer. And from personal experience, it's better to overtone and just kind of eyeball it, because you'll find it will fade out anyway when you wash your hair. So yeah, I prefer to overtone, that's just my personal preference. But if you guys would like to just keep it conservative and just do a light wash and then just keep doing it every now and then, that's completely up to you. Also, when you guys are choosing colors online, make sure you avoid anything that says lifting in it. So this is just an example of a product. This one is the Blonde Me Blonde Lifting, lifts up to 5 levels with liquid keratin. So anything like that in the description, avoid it at all costs, because that's actually going to lift your hair and might damage your hair even more. Even if you dilute it a bit, or dilute it a lot, it will probably still damage your hair and lighten your hair. That is not what you want. You just want to deposit color, you don't want any lift. So yeah, just make sure you stay away from those words. If you find that whole process a little bit too complicated, or you can't find a peroxide for whatever reason like that, next best thing is to use box dyes. Now, depending on how light your hair again is, it will really determine what tone you'll use, but generally I like to stick to, like, if you want your tone to have a little bit of depth, like for me, I like this particular color, and I do like that depth that the toner gives me. I will go for something a little bit darker. If however you guys just want to tone out the yellow in your hair, if you have blonde hair, go for something like a level 9 or a level 10 or anything. Actually, don't go any higher than that. Usually the higher ones tend to have lifting effects. The good thing about the drugstore ones is they usually have like a visual representation of what the color might look like. I use the word might heavily on that one. So yeah, at least it gives you a general indicator whether you're going for like a neutral blonde, ash blonde, neutral brown, ash brown, you know what I mean. So the concept is pretty much the same. I have actually used this already, so usually these things come with the developer, the color, pretty much the same concept, just mix everything in together, add more water into it, not too much, and then that will dilute the peroxide and then it will act like a toner. With both methods, obviously, just depending on how long your hair is will determine how much product you'll need. I always prefer to have extra product. It's better to have more product than less when it comes to toning your hair. And then in terms of toning your hair, how do you do that with these particular products? I like to section out my hair. I do have other videos on my channel that I have sectioned my hair, but essentially I will section out my hair and apply it onto the root, because usually the root is where the brassiness tends to happen first. I'll use like a little bowl and a brush. Otherwise you can just use your fingers, make sure you wear gloves, and then just kind of like massage it onto those areas. If you have a friend or a relative or someone to help you, that would be most ideal. But otherwise, yeah, if your brassiness tends to be around the roots, start at the roots. If however you just want an overall toning effect, then you can just apply it onto the hair, but do it in small sections. Don't just take a huge chunk of hair and then just dunk in the product, because then it won't saturate through. I've learned that the hard way as well. Yeah, just do small sections, and then yeah, just make sure you keep an eye on your hair, especially if you have light hair. You'll find toner will be absorbed quite quickly, and I do like overtone, but sometimes you don't want it to be super overtone, because then it takes forever to wash out. I do recommend applying it to dry hair. If you have wet or damp hair and you apply these, it might take longer for it to tone because it's so super diluted. So yeah, makes sense that it's going to take longer. So yeah, there you guys go. Those are my tips and tricks on how to tone your hair at home. So the conditioners, the mask, the shampoos are definitely the really easy, safe way to go about it. The chemical ones, there's a little bit of a chance that you might fry your hair if you don't do it correctly. So I do recommend doing more research. I've just given you guys like a general idea, but if you guys want specific measurements and whatnot, definitely do some more research. There's heaps of blog posts and YouTube videos on how to do that properly. But yeah, that's just how I do it myself. But yeah, there you guys go. That is the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you guys did. Hit the subscribe button, also that notification bell, so you guys don't miss out on any new videos from me. And if you guys would like to see more content from me, definitely head over to my Instagram. I'm definitely more active on there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.